Hello everyone and welcome back once again to my channel. In today's video we will be taking this beautiful Flybe CRJ 700 for a flight from Edinburgh to London City Airport, an airfield that's notorious for its steep approach, of course. Most of you probably already know this. I'm actually going to split this video up into two pieces and upload them on the channel separately. It's something new I'm trying out. I'm trying my best to find the ideal format for my videos so you guys can enjoy them even more. So the first video will cover the pre-flight phase and the departure, and the second one will cover the arrival and landing at London City. So be sure to check that video out as well after this one. So very quickly before we start, like always, be sure to do a touch and go on that subscribe button along with the bell icon right beside it so you never miss out on any new content. And if you enjoy my content and you want to see more of it, don't forget to leave a like and follow me on Instagram as well. Questions or requests are always welcome down below in the comment section. Now without further ado, let's jump into the flight deck. So guys, here we are inside the flight deck of the beautiful CRJ 700 from Aerosoft. This aircraft, like most of you already know, has been released quite recently. I've only done a couple of flights with it now, but I think I've managed to get the hang of it now. So yeah, it's a very beautiful cockpit. And for the sake of time, I've already put the aircraft into a turnaround condition instead of the usual cold and dark start right from scratch phase that we normally do. But if you want to see how you should start up these aircrafts from step 1, you can always watch my tutorial video that I made a couple of weeks ago. But for now, we are just going to continue with setting up the aircraft. So we are going to go down to the FMC and right to the flight plan page. So we are at Echo Golf Papa Hotel, I think. Let me just check real quickly. Yep, that's correct. And we are going to Echo Golf Lima Charlie, which is London City Airport. Our flight number today is Bravo Echo 1331, which is the code for Flybe. An airline that is sadly not with us anymore for some reason. I mean, I know the reason is because of Corona, but it's kind of sad because they had some very beautiful aircraft, the Q400s, as some of you might know. So we will not see any of those anymore, sadly. And this airline also didn't have a CRJ, but you know, that doesn't really matter. In my opinion, this aircraft looks absolutely stunning in this livery, so that's very nice. Anyway, back to the FMC. We'll go to the departure page. We are departing via runway 24 on the Gotham 1C departure, which is this one. Execute. You can see on the navigation display it has loaded in the departure. Now we can go back to flight plan, hit next page, and from there we are going to fly via the P600 airway. So Papa 600, and we are taking that to the Fenwick waypoint. If I can find the F, thank you very much. There we go. Fenwick, then the UL612 airway. And we are taking that all the way to Calda. And from there we are flying direct to the MCT VOR, I presume. And from there we are going to fly our arrival. And for today's flight we will follow the Jaco 1M arrival, which is this one. And for the ILS runway 27. And let's see our transition. So the last waypoint of our arrival, according to the chart, is a Jaco. And we'll see which waypoint we can use as a transition. I think we'll just use vectors then, because there doesn't appear to be any other option. Go to the next page, we can check for any discontinuities. There is one right there. That's not what I wanted to do. Back to the next page. There's another discontinuity. And that's all of them. So now we can check that our flight plan is in fact correct by stepping through it a little bit. There we go, that all looks fantastic. So we are done with our flight plan. Now we can go to the second FMC and to the perf page. A flex temperature of 47 should be enough for today. Perf init, our cruising altitude today is flight level 370, so that makes 37,000 feet, like so. Execute that. Then that should be enough for now. We'll put in the transition altitude once we get to the departure briefing. So let me just think real quickly what else we need to do. So I think we can do the departure briefing right now, but first let's do the weather briefing real quickly as well, then we can set our altimeters. So the temperature at Edinburgh is 8 degrees with a dew point of 1 degree. Altimeter is 2988, so we'll set that real quickly. There we go, on the first officer side as well, like so. The wind is 240 at 14 knots. Visibility of 6 or more miles. Cloud ceiling of 3700 feet AGL and few clouds at 2300 feet. And also broken clouds at 3700 feet. But other than that, no significant weather at this time, according to the METAR. So now we'll do the departure briefing. Departing from runway 24. I'll show you the charts real quickly. So there we go. This is the departure that we are going to follow for today. We are going to depart our runway heading and fly to the Edinburgh NDB. From there we are going to fly a heading of 262 degrees to a distance of 9.5 nautical miles from the localizer DME at Edinburgh, and to a distance of 40 nautical miles where we need to be at 6,000 feet, but honestly we'll probably climb to our cruising altitude way before that. And then we are going to continue to Mavix and then to Gotham. And there's something about this waypoint that we need to check. Oh yeah, max hit altitude is 6,000 feet, but expect ATC clearance to cross Mavix or Kumbo at or above flight level 100. So what that basically says is that according to the charts, we should be at 6,000 feet at Gotham, but we can expect a higher altitude by ATC, but obviously we are flying offline, so we'll just play ATC ourselves, and we will grant us a higher altitude when we fancy it. So yeah, that's everything we need to know about the chart. Transition altitude is 6,000 feet, so we'll put that into the FMC now. Can press VNAV setup and put 6,000 feet in here. Execute. And that's everything for the FMC, so we don't need to touch that anymore. We can start setting up our MCP by pressing the flight director switch. Initial altitude, like I said, is 6,000 feet. So we'll set that. And our initial heading is 240 degrees. Like so. That's set. Everything else is set as well. So at this point we can start the APU as well. There we go. Press the start switch, now it will do its thing normally. And we can also close all of the aircraft doors. And once the APU has started, we'll disconnect the ground power unit. In the meantime, let me grab my checklist real quickly and we'll do the clear to start checklist. So the APU is on and available. Electrics, we can check those by going to the MFD. The generator of the APU is now powering all of the systems. Takeoff data, I've set all of the V speeds. So V1 of 190, no, sorry, V1 of 130, V rotate of 130, and V2 of 140 with a target speed of 150. And I guess that's the flap retraction speed or something like that. I'm not really sure, but that's all set. So doors are closed and locked. Beacon is on. Fuel pumps, they can go on. Hydraulic pumps are all on or auto. And parking brake, we'll leave that on for now until the pushback truck is here. You can see it right in front of us there. We just need to call it via ATC. So request pushback. Now we can disengage the parking brake. Oh yeah, we forgot to do the before start checklist actually. So passenger signs are on, landing elevation we'll just set it. Altimeter is 2988 on both sides. FMS is checked, IRSs are aligned, radios and nav 8s are set, takeoff briefing complete. Actually, we need to set the localizer DME, but I don't think that will work in this aircraft, so we'll just leave it for now. There we go. We are ready to start our engines once the pushback has finished. And for some reason we are going with... Oh yeah, I know what the problem is. The chocks are still in place, so that should do it. There we go, that's almost perfectly on the taxi line there. That should be good enough. Pressing all the wrong buttons there. Okay, so back in the flight deck, parking brake can go on. And we will not wait around and we'll just start the engines, starting with the right hand one. Waiting for 20% N2, and then once we pass that we'll introduce the fuel. There we go. Throttle is in the idle position. ITT and N1 are rising as well. There we go, that's one good engine. Good engine, sorry. Let's make it two. Exactly the same thing for engine number 1.
In case of a drop in cabin pressure, we would also like to remind you that you should turn off all electronic devices. We thank you for paying attention during this brief presentation.
You can see another aircraft there. Not a real person, but the artificial intelligence. I don't remember ever turning that on though, so I'm not really sure where they suddenly all came from. But yeah, I don't mind a little bit of life at the airport. As long as that aircraft doesn't crash into us once we take off. But yeah, two good engines as you can see and hear, so we'll now turn on the yaw damper. For some reason I can never engage the yaw damper before engine starts. Even though the checklist says that we should already do that before we start our engines, but maybe that will be changed in a future update. Anyway, we'll now do the after start checklist. So generators are all in auto, electrics are checked, both the generators are now powering the systems. Bleed valves are on auto, very important one, otherwise we can't breathe. Packs are on, APU is off, anti-ice we can turn on the probes. Nose wheel steering is armed. Then the taxi check, we can select the flaps to 8 and we'll wait once for the flaps to extend properly. There we go. 8 and indicating flight controls, we'll check those. Full right rudder checked, full left rudder checked, right aileron checked, left aileron checked, back elevator checked, and forward elevator is checked. Flight controls are free and correct. Trims, according to the performance page, we need a trim setting of 6.5, but this aircraft tends to rotate on itself, so I'm just going to set a trim of 6.2, let's say. Thrust reversers are armed. That's quite important if you want to do a rejected takeoff. Flight instruments, they are all checked and working. And the brake temperature, we can check that on the status page. They are all in the green, so that's fine. We are ready to taxi, so taxi light is coming on. Release parking brake. So we'll go straight ahead and then make a left onto taxiway Alpha, and then we'll continue to runway 24. Here we are at the threshold of runway 24. We are going to stop right here, because we still have some checklists to do before we go. Parking brake is set. Let me take the before takeoff checklist. Lights and strobes, all of the landing lights can go on, and the strobe light as well. Fuel X-flow is on manual. Flight attendants has been advised transponder and gas is set. I don't know how to set the transponder, so we'll just leave it as it is. Radar and terrain display, I don't think the radar works in this aircraft yet. And the gas, oh god, what did I press? Okay, nothing. So the gas is checked, no faults. So there we go, we are ready for takeoff. Let's make sure one last time that everything is set where it needs to be. And we'll also make sure that that little Beechcraft isn't taking off at the same moment as us, because that would be quite catastrophic in real life. So, can press the toga button on the throttles. And we can also start the clock now. There we go, lined up with the runway. Toga is set. Airspeed's alive. $80 knots. V1 rotate. And positive rate, gear up. Autopilot is coming on immediately. And once we reach 200 knots, we'll press the speed button. Flaps can be retracted already, and the thrust can go to climb. Nose light and taxi lights can go off as well, because the landing gear is now inside the aircraft, so they don't really have any use now. Now that the flaps are retracted, we can accelerate to 250 knots. And there we go, guys, we are climbing away. So the aircraft has detected some ice, so what we'll do is we'll turn on the wing light for now. Wing light, sorry, what am I saying? The wing anti-ice. And we've also reached 6,000 feet, so we'll just imagine that ATC has now cleared us to a higher altitudes. So we'll continue climbing at 250 knots. We were actually not supposed to exceed this speed. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we are going to overspeed the aircraft. Oh no, it's actually, oh come on. Struggling a little bit to keep the aircraft climbing here. But we should be good now. So 215 knots and we'll set an altitude of 37,000 feet like so. Barometric pressure can go to standard now since we've crossed 6,000 feet. And something that I always forget in this aircraft is turn on nav mode, so that the aircraft actually follows our flight plan. There we go, 10,000 feet, landing lights can go off. And now we can accelerate to a higher speed. 275 knots should be good. And we'll just go direct to Mavics now. So there we go guys, we've now crossed the Gosam waypoint, which was the last waypoint of our departure. So that's probably going to be it for the first video. And I'll see you guys obviously in the next video where we will land at London City Airport. That will definitely be a very fun video to watch. But yeah, for now I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.